Yo, what's going on, Ramley? Welcome back to the Ram Skinny here on the LAFB network. We are Los Angeles Sports. This is your daily dose of Rams news. Joining me, as always, the man, Mr. Skinny T. We're going to be Rams training camp here soon. Excited to talk to you as always. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I did a whole bunch of work in my backyard, so I didn't have much of a weekend, but the sod's looking good.
Looks great. You're bricklaying back there too, weren't you?
Yeah, was moved maybe 700 bricks the last couple of days.
You can say 700 pound of brick. That's fine if that's what you're going to go with.
I did weigh them. They're 5 pounds.
Well, there you
Do
700
the math.
bricks. You're doing more than 700 pounds. You did 700 bricks. So well done. Yes, thank you, Ramley, as always, for making this a part of your day. ESPN has been dropping, I should say, their rankings, positional rankings heading into the season. We just did a video previously, if you watched it, on Jared Verse. He finished in the top 10, so check that out. Give us your opinion on Verse and his ranking. Today we're talking quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford, where he resides in this ranking. These were done not just by ESPN pundits, but NFL executives, scouts, coaches around the league. None of them were no, we don't know who they were, but seemingly, powerful within NFL circles, giving these conversations. So Matthew Stafford comes in at number 6 going into this year, falling one spot. He was ranked 5th last year going into the year. So I'll just go ahead and say the top 10 really quickly for those that have not seen it. Patrick Mahomes 1, no surprise. Josh Allen 2, Joe Burrow 3, Lamar Jackson 4, second year QB Jayden Daniels in at 5, Stafford 6, Justin Herbert 7, Jared Goff all the way up at 8, Jalen Hurts 9, and good old Baketown, Baker Mayfield, over at 10. So to start, Skinny, your thoughts on Stafford at 6? Too high, too low? Are you good with it?
I'm pretty good with it. I think he should be 5 though. I think he should be where he was last year. I think the top 5 is pretty undisputable. I mean, top 3 definitely. I'm surprised that Burrow is up over Lamar Jackson. Yeah. But top 4 pretty hard to say, but Jayden Daniels, are we already there with Jayden Daniels 1 year into this experiment in Washington? That's my only thing I would quibble with. What do you think?
Definitely could qualm with that. I mean, there could be debate about Stafford and Lamar Jackson. Again, not when you just look at the raw talent, but when you think of clutch moments. I love Lamar Jackson. I love watching him play, but time and time again, every year, it's like, can he win the big game? He just unfortunately hasn't, and Stafford has won some big games and almost won another really big one last year, but did win a playoff game. So there could be a debate there, but I have zero problem with the top 4, how they are. Jayden Daniels, no disrespect to Jayden Daniels, who has a bright future, an unbelievable rookie season last year. But putting him at 5 after one season is almost a disservice. Now, we saw just last year, Skinny, I don't know if they're the same exact scouts and coaches or there was a different batch, but this happened just last year. CJ Stroud, they ranked 7th after his rookie of the year performance. You need more than a year, I think, to really project a guy that high. Not saying that Jayden Daniels is going to fall off a cliff, but let me see a couple years of some production before putting him above potential future Hall of Famer Matthew Stafford and elite arm talent in Justin Herbert and Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts. You've got to do a little bit more than just one season of 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns and some unbelievable highlight-worthy come-from-behind wins that we could argue luck, whatever you want to put into it. I don't see how time and time again these rankings kind of fall into that because, of course, CJ Stroud now is not in the top 10 after being 7 last year. So not saying Jayden Daniels is going to fall off, but for me personally, I can't just take a one year sample size and put him above a guy that's been doing it for 15 years and still playing at a very high level. I just can't do it. I think it's disrespectful to Stafford and it's a disservice to Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on all those points. And just to kind of elaborate on those points a little bit, did CJ Stroud take a step back, or did his offensive line fall off and two of his receivers get hurt? You think about, the quarterback is the most important, plays a huge role, but it's dependent on the people around him. It's dependent on the offensive line and the weapons that he has at his disposal. CJ Stroud learned that hard lesson last year. To your Lamar Jackson point, these these rankings are a bit frustrating because you can see the biases kind of built in. Now, in some ways they're so short-sighted, aka Jayden Daniels. In some instances, they're thinking about, well, what is this quarterback going to offer me over the next, let's say 5 years? Stafford is not going to offer you a ton over the next 5 years, but next season, whereas Lamar Jackson is going to be, he's going to be a premier quarterback for a good amount of time. So, and just to lend credibility to this whole Jayden Daniels argument that we're making, go watch our Jared Verse show. We're saying the exact same thing about Jared Verse. He's rated 10. We're saying that's a bit too early. Can he do what he did again and improve upon it in terms of his production? So
Yeah.
I think, all of that is in play and fair game.
And just to kind of double down, and this is not to like put any negative light on Jayden Daniels or anything, but let me ask you this question. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. So Jayden Daniels fifth in these rankings. His other rookie counterpart, we could also even talk Kyren Williams if you want, who didn't make any of these lists. Bo Nix was in the received votes category. We don't know if that means one vote or whatever. He's the last one listed, not honorable mention, but the last one listed. There's also like Dak Prescott and Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know how much those votes warranted, but he's not in this list. If you think of like the national narrative after last season, you would think that Jayden Daniels was like head and shoulders above Bo Nix's season, right? Like, what's your take? Not even your take, just based on what kind of being a bystander following the Rams, like how those seasons played out.
I think, it's similar to like Pac-12 teams getting overlooked. Not so much in the East Coast, West Coast, or what have you, but Washington made and won playoff games. So I mean that just kind of moves them into like a national conversation that is just going to be bigger than what Bo Nix did. If you're comparing the teams and the coaching staff, is Cliff Kingsbury that much better than whatever they got going in Denver with offense? I mean, Sean Payton's pretty good of an offensive mind. So better offensive line in Denver, better defense in Denver, better weapons, arguably, maybe not, but probably not. Yeah, Sarah McLaurin's quite a bit better.
Yeah. No, but I get what you're saying. I think that's kind of the national motive on, and I totally get too. Jayden Daniels, won playoff games and looked good in the playoffs and whatnot. Now, obviously, rookie of the year is decided before the playoffs, but when you just compare the two head to head, like Bo Nix had more yards, had more touchdowns, only had 3 more interceptions. And he also led a team in the Denver Broncos that hadn't made the playoffs in 7 years, and he led them to their first playoff appearance since Peyton Manning. So it's just funny that one guy is seen as the 5th best quarterback in football. The other guy, with basically the same resume, received essentially a vote and doesn't even get an honorable mention. Now, I'm not saying Bo Nix should be in the conversation. This is just my way of saying, like, why in the world is Jayden Daniels ranked 5th when you have guys in his same rookie class who did identical things to him and are not even in the top 12, top 13, top 14? So just more fuel that Stafford should absolutely unequivocally be above Jayden Daniels. And I'm not trying to throw shade at Daniels. I think he's a great young quarterback, but
well, we are not that many years removed from people throwing dirt on Stafford. Going back to 2022, let's say, where I'm not sure what year he was not ranked in this particular poll, but he was unranked. Fairly, like,
not that long ago.
He's been a great quarterback for his entire career. So yeah, I mean, it's all flawed, but what the rankers are talking about just really shows you, what Stafford still does at 37. First thing they talk about, he's tough as S, an NFL coordinator said.
Mm-hmm.
You know, elite poise and toughness in the pocket, ability to throw with timing and location. Like he's a quarterback. That's everything you want in a quarterback right there. Now the other things, off-platform throws, creating outside of the pocket, maybe you can't do that. But when it boils down to it, like my standard anyway for a quarterback is I want to see that kind of stuff. Can you hang in the pocket? Can you just do the job? And he's doing it at an elite level again.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious if said execs were involved in the offer of $50+ million, whether it's with the Raiders, Giants, or Steelers, when there was potential of trade. So clearly the league also believes he is that dude if people were willing to give him a 2-year, $100 million deal, essentially, to pry him away from the Rams. So, yeah, we all know how good he is. I think he's top 5. I think he had, in my opinion, we've talked about it a lot, kind of a down year last year, had some of his most sub 200-yard passing games of his career, but certainly has the ability and certainly has earned, I think, the respect to be touted as one of the best in the game right now. Before we end this, Skinny, I just thought it was one little interesting thing. 3 quarterbacks in the top 10 have all played for McVay at one time. When you look at Stafford, Goff, and Baker Mayfield.
Oh, wow.
Look at
That's
that.
great. Yeah.
And I mean, is that wild that Baker Mayfield's I love it. I love that. I don't know why. I'm just such a big Baker fan, but it's so, I love comeback stories and the fact that Cleveland basically said, yep, we're going back to the drawing board. Like we draft you number 1 overall. You're still not the franchise guy. And now the dude once again is in the top 10 and with the Buccaneers. Like, I love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, he's getting a lot of shine right now. It'll be interesting to see another offensive coordinator for him down there. They released those creamsicle uniforms. What do you think of those?
I freaking love them. I think they're so
Yeah.
great. I think that the funnest or most fun thing, Skinny, about like throwback unis is when they were actually the uniform, people hated them.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about all throwbacks, not just these Buccaneer ones, but everyone was like, if you go back to like NFL films when they used to do like different, like I think they would always do, I can't remember what it's called, but I remember watching when I'd be homesick from like middle school, they'd always have their top 10 shows, like top 10 receivers and all this. And I remember one being like top 10 ugliest uniforms of all time. Buccaneers was always number 1 with those creamsicle unis. And I remember growing up, like the Broncos during the 80s and 90s, they had their old, blue and orange with the little white decal horse. Ugly. Everyone hated him. Now it's like when they're throwback, oh, gorgeous. Why do they ever get rid of these in the first place? Like, but I don't disagree. Like those creamsicles that they just launched today look beautiful.
Well, talking more Jersey stuff, Seattle's a perfect example. They went hyper kind of futuristic for their time when they made the big switch away from the old Seahawks logo. Yeah. And now I'm looking at those new throwbacks, and I'm just like, that's just I guess I'm looking at their current uniforms and going like, those look odd and specifically dated, and now I like these other ones better. But
yeah, I don't know if it's just that somehow they do the throwback and it emulates what it was, but somehow the colors like pop more today. Like it's so funny when you see old, and even thinking back to being in that time period, like we lived it. We're not like that old, or not. It wasn't that long ago, I should say. But like, it just seems like even in my mind, like the colors just weren't as vibrant. Like all of a sudden here in 2025, like colors just pop more or something. Because sometimes those throwbacks, they're literally the identical uniform, just the colors look more vibrant.
Yeah, well, the Eagles did that.
Yeah.
With going back to the Kelly Green
ones. Yeah. But like you look at old kid stuff and it's like, this like just doesn't look good. You see it now, you're like, this is gorgeous. Why'd they ever get rid of this?
Well, the Chargers just dropped a couple of new uniforms, and it's been a while since we've had a Rams uni.
Yeah, a lot of Rams uni talk on X today.
Oh, is that right? Oh, because
they haven't dropped anything yet. Everyone else is dropping, and they're not doing anything.
Interesting. Come on, Demoff.
See that? So okay, well, we could do a whole other show on this, but I'll just say this, and we'll tease it maybe. Speaking of throwbacks, So the Rams don't currently have a throwback. They obviously have this new rebrand. So if they did a throwback, and I know they have like the ode to the throwback with their soul and the yellow uniform, which I think is their best one. That's like an ode to it. But if they did a true throwback, do you think they would do one like an actual LA like the white and blue throwbacks, or do you think they would do like the St. Louis Greatest Show on Turf throwback?
It's thinking of like brightness of colors and like looking dingy uniforms, like those St. Louis like Greatest Show on Turf age, just kind of real gold and dark blue, looks so dingy.
Yeah, I
I
think they look terrible.
yeah.
I know a lot of Rams fans love those. I think they look terrible, but sorry to cut you off. If they brought them back somehow, they'd probably pop.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. But no, I am all on board. When it comes to sports stuff, I think timeless is the way to go. And I think that just simple blue and white, dark blue helmet, dark blue accents, white.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
I think that throwback, obviously everyone knows the white and yellow and blue, which they've kind of tried to replicate a little bit. But yeah, if they did a true throwback,
Fearsome Foursome, Deacon Jones, Roman Gabriel.
yeah,
Let's go.
Dieter Brock.
Sure.
Give me some Dieter Brock, bro. Give me some white and blue horns. Anyway,
Well, there's one last one that where maybe it was when they were in Cleveland, but there was red incorporated. It was like red and gold.
Whoa,
Yeah.
red.
Yeah,
too close to the Niners.
Maybe maroon.
They can't do any red. Can't do red.
That's a good point. Good point.
Anyway, Matthew Stafford, 6th overall. What do you guys think? Drop in the comments. I think it'd be unanimous among Rams fans that he should be above Jayden Daniels, but hey, maybe some people disagree. Let us know. But good to see he's still top 6. That's great. Huge ups. We'll be back later with more rankings talk before training camp kicks off in just over a week. Make sure you keep it right here with Rams LAFB, as we will have tons of camp updates live from LMU in Los Angeles, as we will be there all through training camp. For Skinny T, I'm Ryan Dyer. We'll be back with plenty more Rams talk here on the Rams Skinny.